Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome back. Welcome back, my friends, to the Killing Stone. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome in, Dragon Reaper, Bearded Cyborg, and Growl Master. Thank you for the check-ins, everybody. Tonight, my friends, we are going to make a deal with the devil. The one and only devil known as Liam O'Brien. Oh, hi everybody. How are we doing today? I hope we're doing well. Evening, Bearded Cyborg. Yesterday, we finished Hell Is Us. It is complete. We completed the game. It was kind of a weird ending, but it was cool. And I gave the game a pretty high rating, all things considered. So today, my friends, we are playing a new game. And this may be our Monday game going forward, depending. But we're starting it today because I'm interested in it's a first look. So I haven't decided if I want to make this one a series. It might be too short for that. Who knows? But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Killing Stone. I know very little about this game, but what I do know is Liam O'Brien plays the devil, and that intrigues me. So, without further ado, let us begin a new contest for an innocent soul. However, actually, with a little bit of ado, because this game has somewhere in here we are. In the language settings, there are two options. We have Modern English, which sets the game to a style of English more familiar to everybody here, essentially. And we have Period English, which sets the game to a style of writing more akin to Shakespeare and earlier forms of English. Now, I've selected Modern English because I would like to not have to pass 12 different words to understand the meaning of a sentence. However, if you guys would like, we can switch it up for some Period English, mayhaps. We shall see. We may switch it up later on, I'm not certain. But for now, we are going to go with Modern English. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin. Where's the Scouse option? You want to hear the devil with a thick Scouse accent? I mean, I'm sure there's probably the ability to make a mod for it. Oh, lovely. There's an eyeball in the glass. Well, this is going to be fun. Oh. Use W to walk. Can I use S? Oh, I can, but I can't get very far. Alright.
If If your tongue wants use, approach and speak on. I am, to your every whim, a subject. But as wise men will one day say, in the beginning was the act. If you crave such action, then to the ritual and amen.
Interesting. You approach the figure uncertainly, trying in vain to orient yourself in this uncompassed dark. Wittenberg College. Your office, was it not? A mysterious parcel left on your desk, within a box, strangely familiar. Numbly, you had skimmed the receipt, retaining nothing beyond Estate of Marican Svangard, herein as the deceased. Your ancient mentor, dead. In her shadow, false and true seem weightless equivocations. She left this box to you. On instinct, you reached for the clasp. Then an uncanny light, which seemed somehow to notice you.
From time's iron vice, you emerge, uncrushed. All hail and welcome. Do you have a soul?
I can prove no such thing.
You have, or I would see you not at all. But grand, let's call your new soul my gift, given with love. Now, in all of your mortal world, there is but one game worth the candle. If you would play, ask yourself this. Have you the skill? Have you the will to beat the devil? If you knew how many times I have heard a yes, you would stand amazed.
The figure gestures at the altar-like table and speaks no more. Can we continue talking? The one-eyed entity offers nothing more. Freely. Okay. Let us begin the ritual.
Do you see? Here is the table, and here the game. In this place, we play for souls. Here is my wager, the soul of Marican. You hereby swear to be final executor of your late mentor's pact, and in all unresolved trials or contests, play on her behalf. You bear my eye, bequeathed by your dead witch. It shall serve as your stake in this good faith test of your credentials, and keep us both honest.
Ooh. Yep, that's definitely a weird demonic eye.
Now, prove yourself no imposter. Face Valravn, first familiar to learned Marican, and confirm you are truly her pupil.
The figure indicates a signature line on this ritual document. The package from Marican contained a strangely vicious-looking ring with a nib at its tip. The purpose is obvious. Oh boy. Well, that's signed in blood.
Now, by all the eyes of hell and heaven, are we to each unto the other bound. Until the trial's done, and game be won, let no mortal soul from this table rise.
A great pale bird hops forward. An albino corvid. Quite rare. It trills strangely and seems to speak. Not in words, yet you intuit the meaning.
Why a mock trial? This clearly is the one foretold. Still, if I must, I'll fledge the witch, study the case, and make your argument, in brief, stranger.
This ritual binds you and the demon together in contest by contract. Click on the battle above your loop to begin. Valravan, the first proving a trivial battle. To win this contractual battle, you must reduce the health of your opponent's eye to 0. If you reach 0, you lose. When your turn starts, you draw up to 5 cards, which you then play on the battle line. Select card. These cards are all creatures, which get placed on the battle line and fight when your turn ends. Place one now in the available spot. Card action. Cards cost action points to play, and action points refill on your next turn. Play thralls until you run out of action points. When you've run out of action points, you can end your turn with space to enter the resolve phase and let your creatures attack. During resolve phase, creatures attack and deal wounds equal to their strength to the first enemy they face. The Fangheller, or Killing Stone, divides the board. You can place creatures only on your side, and vice versa. All creatures have health, and will die if damage reduces that health to 0.
Oi, bugger off.
Keep playing thralls until you run out of room. Interesting. Your triumph represents a successful legal argument, but there are many such clauses in each ritual. Proceed to the next battle. The second proving. Beneath each eye is a preview of the damage they will take. Place a creature on the battle line to see the preview change. I see. The demon played a new kind of creature. Focus on it with your mouse to see its details. Bypasses the first asset in front of it when attacking. Overreach has a special keyword, tunnel. Creatures with 1 skip the first valid target when attacking. Attacks hit the eye directly if there is nothing to skip. Cheeky, I see. Creatures also have previews. The slash means this creature will die at the end of the turn. Interesting. Hey, welcome in, Deadmeat. I did not see the check-in, but I will assume, considering you said that it works, that it worked. I apologize for not paying attention to stream, but I am currently in combat with the devil, apparently. Well, thank you for the mint as well. I appreciate it. I will mint myself. Mint thine self, yes. Yes. Now, where were we? Valravan, the third proving. Your new card spark is an invocation, a spell that affects the board but isn't placed on it. Select the spark now. Use the spark on an eye. The rest of your hand is all thralls, which seems unlucky. Select the draw pile to see if you've got anything better waiting. This shows your remaining deck in no particular order. When this is empty, the graveyard reshuffles into it. Use the back button to leave. You draw up to 5 cards every turn. You can discard 1 card every turn by hovering and using the left mouse button. No, sorry, right mouse button. I'm gonna quickly fold my legs under me so that I can sit properly. Hopefully making space for a better card next turn. Discard a card now. Let us spark on this. If you regret a move, you can undo it with the undo button. You can undo any move until you end your turn. End turn. Victory.
Must we go through all this pomp?
Towards your devilish foe, somewhat sing-song.
Is your one good eye too damn old to see this guest's our maven? Or I'm not me?
Enough beak, ghost-feathered wretch. You speak with your mistress's mouth, yet listened not. She made this exam a condition of these items' release. And rhyme no more, squab, unless you match silence to itself. My cap could use a new plume.
The bird stiffens. Whatever this adversary may truly be behind his mask, Valravan seems far warier of it than his words suggest.
Is our guest not due some more candid conversation then? Was I wrong to trust your reputation for civility?
Agreed. We
Turning
may
to you,
commune
he
in comfort
concludes.
now, if you like.
Sure, let's talk.
To me, you are the shape of joy made flesh. To be matched at last, sweet sinner to the sin.
The figure
The late
gestures
Marika
again.
named you her pupil. Should you, by this ritual trial, prove yourself the one chosen by the witch, then like that box, I and all the world will open to you. The second ritual test awaits, unless you've any questions.
The devil waits on you. So it is true. Marican is dead. She has willed me her arcane secrets, but are you the catch?
Maven, we are, all of us, ensnared. Should Marican's debts unto the house be settled in full, and thereafter residual sums fall to claimants, you are hereby entitled to all scholarly holdings, tomes, servants, artifacts, et al.
Her library was said to contain, well, the secrets of creation itself.
Yes, and exile merely stoked that pale and patient fire which writes men's names across the centuries, or from within consumes them. She wished to exceed them all, and as a woman too. Oh, the scandal. I shall miss that. You were so young. Perhaps you remember little of her tutelage. Well, she is dead at last. If you agree to execute her will, all is yours. For in it, you are named. Now, should you die before your task is complete, your own soul will be forfeit, unless some undisclosed advocate steps forth on your behalf.
His mask is already winking, yet here you notice it anew. You said this is your eye.
Some of us have seen too much. This is not my first face. Not even the first that she gave me, your Marican. Alas, it seems now the last.
He gestures lightly at his cunningly whittled profile. At neither gap nor seam do you note any flesh beneath, save for that incandescent eye. You sense a slight dissembly, however, even a note of reproach. How revealing. Care to wager the other? I could have a set.
The damn cheek on you. How would they look a shade redder? But come, the test first. For now, let us say simply, that is the reason I stand before you.
You hear no true offense in the subtle fire of his voice. He turns to look sidelong at the lantern. At rest, that luminous organ stays moist in its well of amniotic brine, suspended, watching, agnostic to time. Then let us resume this ritual contest. Its mysteries are beginning to reveal themselves to me. Select a temporary boon to buoy you through this ritual. Here you can choose a boon, a special effect that will help you until the ritual ends. Additional copies of a boon boost its effect, so it's always better to take one if offered. Revitalizing salts, I think. The fourth proof. You can place any creature in reserve above another creature, ready to join the battle when the first one falls. Play a celestial projection now on the battle line. The placement slot above the celestial projection represents space for a reserve. Place a comet archer here. Unlike creatures on the battle line which host them, reserved creatures don't normally attack or get hit in battle. End your turn to see your attack. Some creatures have special abilities when they deploy from reserve, like Anchor of Faith. Play it in the Comet Archer's reserve now. The Maven Eye on the Thorns card stands in for you or assets you own, depending on context. As such, thorns strike your creatures and yourself. Ow. Let's play an Anchor and another Celestial Projection. Boss Battle. Battle the nobility of hell. The final proving. Aggression is a chant. Chants must be played in reserve and are discarded when they hit the battle line. On resolve, gives its host +1 attack. During the resolve phase, all resolve effects trigger before creatures begin to attack, so aggression's bonus is always applied before its host strikes. Every creature on the battlefield loses attack. Sneaky. You can replace existing creatures with new ones and keep all their reserves. Replace this wounded celestial projection by playing the stronger Compounding Lasher card over its position. Cheeky. Just play Anchor of Faith in reserve. Interesting. Bring in a Comet Archer. Bring in an Anchor of Faith. And let's bring it on. And end that turn. clear the board. Cheeky. All right. A comet archer in the front. Then a celestial projection of that. And enter. Very wonderful.
I knew you were no charlatan. It is my honor to serve you, Maven, and to be free of his company.
You're no pretender, then. A true Maven, and pupil of the infamous Marikin. Indeed, in every hand you play, I see hers. Now ends the casual joust, and begins the duel. Your witch believed you could outgamble me. As upon a stone in earth redoubted, break my back upon your will. Match me, in whose blood the first ever pact was penned. Who, for your game of souls, carved chessmen from the teeth of time.
Yes, Rockethead, it is indeed Liam O'Brien, as the devil.
At your journey's end, seek me out, and we shall see.
He places a small effigy of you in traveling kit near what appears to be a model house. Unlike Marican's, your figurine seems to lack any eldritch aura for now. Yet the hand-whittled images seem suddenly so very familiar. Oh, well, that's not creepy at all, is it?
To the north is your fateful voyage. Between that eldritch eye and myself, your path will be well lit. In coldness, you will face him again. As true enemies, I'm afraid. Expect no quarter. Soon enough you'll miss the warmth of this first fond embrace. Follow me.
Welcome in, Rockethead.
To my apprentice, my sin eater, and my final friend. In death, I must ask one last favor. That fateful game I once taught you is not yet won. I wagered all and lost more still. Now, I fear, your art must exceed my own. The Svanguard family stands at hazard now, and the house means to collect. Go to them, Maven. Seek out my kinsmen in their exile, and shield them from my wretched curse. You need not love them, but even the worst of us deserves a better fate than this. And Maven, to make my meaning plain, it is you alone whom I entrust to beat the devil. Mariken Svanguard.
Wonderful. We alone are entrusted to beat the devil at his own game. And as we all know, the Liam is in the details. Or the devil's in the Liam. The Liam's in the devil. That's a dog. There's a dog. Can we pet the dog? Oh, hello, friend. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's running away. Huh. What's with the weird jester gnome garden plant things? Buddy, what are you growling at? Oh. Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh, lovely. No, don't kill the doggo. No! Buddy? Oh. Oh, good. Hey. You alright? Mr. Chops! His name is Mr. Chops! Maven, oh, forgive me. I think I did not greet you properly. Never mind that. I saw you struggle against some unseen foe or force. Pardon, sweet guest. A wind in my ears seems to stay on past welcome. Did you ask? A dangerous gleam. A sudden, convulsive shiver. His entire pelt slides across his thin frame, starting at the tail. Then, all too still. He blinks, cocks his head as if you had not yet spoken at all. Is the White Raven thusly limited? Does it share these blind spots? To say, did I greet you fittingly? You greeted me quite well, thank you. Oh, flatter not so. Do make me earn it. Chops will come over bashful and lose his tongue again. He seems to lose the conversational trail. Now, sniffs you a little. You smell of ash. You know, then, my former mistress is dead, and since I somehow forgot myself, yet I remember. Oh, I'm late. Come, please. Her family waits for us. Oh, buddy. He's an old dog and he's got dementia. Poor boy. I do not like the whisperings. Why is there whisperings? Man, it's a hell of a house. Where'd Chops go? Chops? Chops? Is there a doggy door? I don't think there is. The dog instinctively guides you through the grand old manse, sniffing and chuffing about as if he, too, was seeing it anew. Signs of isolation and decay have mounted slowly over decades, yet oddly, only on the outside. The chambers themselves are remarkably well preserved. Still, the lights seem clustered in too few rooms. This is a dwelling for a great clan, yet the sheer silence belies that utterly. Ahead, a few souls stand in a loose cluster, and behind them, the blessed promise of firelight. You suppress a sudden urge to rush past them and collapse upon the hearth. A big man of some 70 years steps forward to greet you. Mr. Chops emits a small, friendly whine at the sight. Volum. The man takes in your mask, your strange case. How did he... I mean, I am indeed wearing a mask today. All right. A guest. Her guest, correct? Such as it was. Her will instructed me to expect you, but not your name. Just Maven, then. Of our great house, these few are near all who remain. Greet our guest now, Svanguards. Try to remember how. This is my... Rasmin. Father says you have come far indeed for our family. Rare to meet a soul that would exile itself by choice. And the animals favor you already. Ever a good sign. Welcome. They look your vestments over as well, yet more as if they'd peer beneath. An Inuk woman steps forward and curtsies very briefly after a look at the large fellow for confirmation. It is impossible not to notice the cross around her neck, her covered hair. In Germany or Denmark, she would draw eyes, but not for her clothes. You are far from both nations. This is her people's land. What prompted such effort? My bride, Nika. I assure you, she speaks. A hasty half laugh. They both look back to the old gentleman. Absurdly, in the uneasy silence, the dog does too. The man rests his red-lined eyes on a specific bit of nothing, then abruptly seems to recall that he, too, has a name. And I am Volum. My grandmother, Marican, lies below the house in the grotto. When the long night of mourning elapses, Marican Svanguard shall be given to the sea, as the old Danes were. Her request. But first you will see to her soul, yes? Apologies. I overstep. Proceed as you see fit. Welcome to Vakanat. Sorry. Vakanat? Vakanat. All retreat to the den, likely unsure what to expect of you. Characters with speech bubbles have something to say. When you are ready to advance the game, go to the exclamation point. Down in the basement. Okay. Bunch of closed doors. Who's up here? Hello? Oh my goodness! Oh, you're adorable! Oh my goodness me! Who are you? The cat's eyes meet yours. As with the other animals here, you seem to conjure thoughts in keeping with each punctuating mew. Behold the reserve, as if from the sky. But by whose war horn were you called forth? Black Milk shall keep an eye on both banners, and take bet. once. Yet now, she pointedly does not watch you walk away. That is adorable. That is adorable. Oh my god, you're an adorable little supervillain, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pet you at every opportunity. Now, here is a curio. A shoe enshrined thus, and not in the rafters to ward away evil spirits. No. Here it would mean... In your travels among the Twin Kingdoms, you have noticed Norwegian families display such an artifact at eye level, typically to convey the legitimacy of an adopted male heir. It is a latter-day gesture to the progenitor of law, as you now know it, the Gulething. Guleping? That's not a P, though. That's the other. That's a different letter. I don't know how to read that. How did it proceed? Yes. The welcoming father and new son in turn each don the shoe. The new line of succession is thereby acted out, step by literal step, as if by spiritual sympathy. Volum's bride, Nika, would not need such an obscure ceremony. And yet, by this object, Volum, a Dane, shows a strange formal fealty to his own kingdom's twin. Perhaps it was a comfort to the adoptee. Who else was made a Svanguard? You resolve to listen closely for hints of other legally entangled heirs as you speak to the family. Interesting. Huh. Ah! Weary, you survey the small guest room. No doubt when this house offered shelter to Mariken's full exiled house, family, servants, and myriad bondsmen would be quartered here. It smells of old pipe smoke, and beneath that some residual, deep-soiled thing. An atavistic ferment long come to dust. Beneath, a scent of her. Astragalus blossom crushed in the mortar. The milk vetch. Not pleasant, but you cannot help it. It smells of home. And what is this? This room's dimensions, defined just so. You remember the print shop where she took you in. You wandered in, then mute and penniless, soaked already in ink of every hue, an aspiring printer's devil who already looked the part. What came before that? No earlier era comes to your conjuring. This room is exactly like that which you stayed in, on the floor above Mariken's press. Not a carpet wrinkle is out of place, an unlikely symmetry. Surely your weary mind is at fault. You set down your case delicately to preserve all Mariken's instruments of arcane inquiry. The box, the lantern, your inheritance, with the promise of more. The paraphernalia of future trials. These, yet thus far no further documentation upon which to employ them. Surely Mariken's will is somewhere on the premises. The lantern and I stay on your person, after another drop of blood to feed both. The concept of sleep brushes the backs of your eyes, gentle and insinuating, but it must wait. So much yet to discover. Valravan. Oh, I can pet you. The white bird, Valravan, is here. Did he not earlier descend to another floor ahead of you? His beak opens. Marican's voice emits. Quite unlike whatever means allow him to convey thought to you. Truly, this trick puts a common parrot full to shame.
Ah, Chops. A hardy mongrel, descended both from the hounds we exiles brought here and the wolf-eyed sledding breeds of the native Inuit. When they sold him to us, he appeared well-trained. Yet something in the poor brute ran mad. He could not abide the house. Bloodied himself in clever, vicious escape attempts. I'd not have chosen young Chops to house a familiar spirit. Yet he seemed soon to perish, and baby Malta quieted when he was near. One Eye's usual procedure, which divides the thinking element from nature's baseness, was more drastic here. The creature is now so roundly devoted to us that when fed, he seems to await permission to chew.
Interesting. That's our bag, I guess. Not the kind of transport I would have brought along, but understandable, I suppose. Ah, I see. Oh, buddy, I can pet you? Oh, my goodness. Boop. Here, unobserved, again the dog speaks.
For shame, leaving a sleeper unwatched, with poor mistress dead below. Will you see to her vigil, Maven? Till you need me as bondsman, I'll see to his. Why, with her soul in such a state, any stinker's old spirit might be jostled free and fly up his sweet nose. A lick for luck. I'll give it now.
Mr. Chops hesitates as you step back. His warm, guileless eyes meet yours.
I'll miss you.
Oh, buddy. Maltha. The boy has a farmer's color, but you see more than a mere trace of this land's native Inuit. Is his lineage passed down from Volum and Nika? Surely they are too old to have been his parents. Who is missing? Regardless, this family has indeed been long away from Europe. By now, numb, perhaps, to scandal. Interesting. Alright, let's talk to the adults. And let's pet Black Milk again.
My goodness. Oh, your eyes are so pretty.
Volum.
Maven, I've had all gather here in common sight since the event. My grandmother left no will, but a rather informal letter spoke of the vigil duty we owe her and peculiar burial practice. Yet her ways were not all ours. I myself strive to govern all else here as a little Denmark.
He frowns at the awkward disavowal. Some fear of inquisition. Ouchie. Sorry, everybody. Some fear of inquisition, even here. Nearby, the Inuk woman shifts a little. A maven is many forms of doctor. Volum seems to know this and feel obliged to share any observations relevant to the family health, be it physical or spiritual. He waits, his teeth visibly set. I believe you said those I've met are near all your remaining family.
Oh, aye, Maven. Since Marican's passing, Maltha, my restless grandson, has perhaps felt unfairly cooped in these few rooms. Mind racing, too, over the brute facts of earthly death, I expect. Some insomnia followed. Mere moments ago the poor lad fell asleep upstairs. You will pass him on the way to your guest room, quietly, if you will. Maven, give him Oblivion's brief grace.
Not sure what accent I was trying to go for there. The late Marican's entire family was exiled with her, then. As your mask reveals only your eyes, he searches them, wondering what? How much you know? Whom you serve? His fingers curl, then deliberately relax.
Indeed, my late grandfather apparently thought it best to accept our fate as a family, to demonstrate Marican's innocence in hopes of... Well, you have only just arrived. I'll not burden you with the dreams of old men.
I see.
Of course, your guest room is the second door on the left, up the stairs. It is humble, but we are no longer supplied to heat the entire house. But one hearth must sustain my swan guards. Your chambers are warmed by its raising grace on its way home.
He pauses on that last, briefly. The tension, then, drains from his shoulders. His belly even rumbles audibly. But to your ear, the sound is slightly foreign. Why, do we not eat? Is that not... I mean, technically I don't, but still. Yes. The woman gestures to herself, not quite touching her chest. Nika, no need and nothing. A perfunctory smile, hands out, open, then half closed. Do not worry, they convey. And Raz. They watched you descend the stairs, seemingly relieved. At what? It is not immediately clear. Please, share the fire, Doctor. You're here to cleanse great-grandmother's soul somehow. Truly. They pause, eyes betray a trace of mirth. Has she any left? Are you worried about the boy upstairs? Maltha, is it? You seemed distracted until I looked in on him. A faintly bashful look, to which their face seems unaccustomed. My late sister's boy, Gida. I don't know. I suppose what little of her I could find any cause to love surfaces from time to time in Maltha, even shines. He seemed a little feverish after the insomnia. Since you went in and did not cry out, I thought perhaps he was soon to recover. Tell me, did Maltha in his sleep speak Coptic at you? I hadn't thought him restless enough to play the autodidact, but, well, it is not the strangest humor that runs in our family. Oh. No marks of ague or pox on the boy. The fever will break in time. Rasmin smiles. There is nothing sly or ironic in this expression. And here I thought it was father who was waiting around for the kind word of an authoritative stranger. A touch too near the fire, eyes half-lidded, Rasmin watches you askance, radiating a quiet delight at the presence of any stranger. American, your great-grandmother, sent for me. Seemed to know the end was near. An eyebrow. They look you over again, slowly circling you, just once. Twice, great-grandma. She knew. Strange. Your frame seems unbent by age. How well did you know her?
What does this mean? No, I'm not interested in knowing if this lady is assessing my bones.
I apprenticed in her print shop. Among much else, she taught me this, your Danish tongue. The eyes close. You sense a bawdy rejoinder, barely suppressed. You speak well, yet a personal request. Were you her advocate on the mainland? No, she sent for you only near the end. Well then, you know how she could be, no? One might ask, how do you take your tea and come away with a doctrinal crisis? American made us all feel perpetually half-shod, stand firm on constants and be outflanked by manifold hypotheses, consider varying options too loudly and find yourself choosing as she would, calling it obvious. The brief shelter of reminiscence. Now the gravity of the occasion returns to their face. They sigh. Had she some malady to write you in advance, which fatal circumstance would prove redundant? I wonder if the impossible old creature felt herself as if constantly stood on ice and failed to notice the genuine article. I mean to say, father does not have the belly for blood, Maven, but you should be told. Marican fell from her balcony, high in the house late at night, struck her head on a sharp bit of earth outside, and so ended a legend. We found her in the morning. She had slowed with age, but I thought her steadier. All to say, the body had frozen and has by now likely thawed some in the grotto. A touch too near the fire. I should see to Marican's soul before her final passage. Godspeed, Maven. They lazily cast their eyes upwards. If you're on more friendly terms than Marican was. And thank you. I'll wager she'd die again before admitting it. But now the old serpent needs you. Interesting. This woman, evidently named Nika, bows her head slightly, but does not break eye contact, indicating you may move on with no further graces, uncannily like Volum himself. Good evening again, Nika, yes? No need for grief shared. Your comfort, false or sincere. She, I knew not but lately, grandmother to Volum, his is the need. The first I can do nothing for. She gestures to you as if to say, it falls to you, carry on. Of even nothing, we have said too much, And Volum is your... She moves her head, eyes widening, as if to prompt you to finish with a trace of impatience. You left a polite pause for an interruption. Now you're in no man's land. You inhale, my man, and I'll be keeping him. She eyes you, scanning your gown for suggested anatomy, with little success. It is not jealousy, this a kind of elemental frankness about risk, perhaps. With whom has she had to compete? My husband tells me your occupation is your name, so your name must be goes about masked in strange houses. And you have business with the dead. God rest her. I am alive. I have no special name, and I've no face to reveal but this. What could we share? Please. With his word, we welcomed you, masked as you are, like a spirit. His faith, I suppose, must somewhat swell in the sight of a stranger in a robe. Haunt my home as custom demands, and should you happen upon my fellow ghosts, please breathe in deeply. When you go, if my Volum breathes 1/10 part more easily, I am content. She smiles. For her, an act of power. She looks at old Volum with what seems genuine warmth, but briefly. Her jaw sets firmly. She is done. One more conversation, and then we'll head down to the basement.
I am no hand at greetings, Maven. Years in exile now, servants dead or fled, heralds, pages, all. And yet, when a stranger asks my name, like a fool, I still stand and stare, waiting on the horns of some phantom tribune to announce me.
He seems to immediately regret the candor, and clears his throat as a segue to nothing at all. Right. To the basement, then. To the crypt. Oh. Full-on caverns, actually. Damn. Alright. I expected a little more architecture, but, well, I suppose this makes sense. I don't like the fact that I think I saw something swimming around there. We will pet Valravan. Valravan deserves some pets.
See the infamous Marican's own soul in contract form. A pact, yes, and signed in blood. By it she's forsworn and damned to hell. By war of will, we now must win her back. We'll seize hold of that subtle body and play a tug of war till all hell's strongmen lose their grip. Mark the time. 48. No. Now 47 fleeting hours we have to sever the pact of Marican.
Yet, who turned the hourglass? Valravan ruffles his feathers in brief confusion.
But where are the smirking fiends come to collect, like pallbearers to stretch her out on the contract and carry her off to the loveless pit? Maven, our newest associate, Mr. Chops, must act as your official familiar for a time, while I look over these documents. Valravan emits a strange, distinctly non-avian whistle. The sound causes your bones to seem suddenly very present, discreet, and separate. The feeling fades. When it does, the dog has already reached the grotto, whining a little. Do please bond with him, Maven. After you understand the magic, you shall have the choice of all our services.
Can I not bond with the cat?
I have long seen myself not as mere reiterations parrot, but a bird trained to voice the naked truth. They'd say clever Val says what is, and not what ought to be. Yet tonight even I feel a strangely foreign pang of doubt at my own eyes' testimony. Behold, the remains of Marican, the immortal.
If I go and speak with Black Milk now, can I get them to become my familiar? Black Milk, might I have a word? Black Milk still deigns to look directly at you, but somehow her studied disregard is slightly more respectful. You get pets, even if you won't be my familiar. Yet. But you will be one day. Right, back down to the basement. And Mr. Chops gets pets as well. Boop.
Maven, so sorry is your old Chops, food Chops. I wanted to watch over young Master Malfa, and my duty forgot me. As the familiar who led you into the home, I owe you the first bond. I am the worst ever dog, or I know the trick to sit watchful in two places at once. One night, the secret will be mine. My bond should ease your burden in rituals to come, and then, by your leave, I'll look in on the young master. Now, let us pay our respects to the mistress, for it is her soul we mean to see too.
Mr. Chops set as familiar. Bonding with a familiar grants a unique boon during the ritual. Mr. Chops fetches new cards when you discard. Later, you will find others with different, singular powers.
Before the ritual, first must come your inspection of Mistress Maven. Yet we are bonded now. Old Chops stands ready to be redeemed.
All right.
Oh, pay me no respect, no obeisance before this empty ruin. What could you still owe me? It is enough that you are here, though perhaps not all of you. I judge you not in that regard. You and I are a matched set.
For a ruin, you emit a resounding echo. I'll talk to myself a little further.
If ancient Mariken could answer, what would you ask?
Do you remember how you died? Or might I be forming a theory?
Age. A wound requiring no further salting. Thank you. Ask instead. Why now, at last? I seemed near the end when as a youth you knew me. Perhaps hell extended my loan, then let it lapse? Tonight, do they come to collect?
Still, your soul is unclaimed. Your familiars yet speak.
And unless you are mad, you met the devil. By whatever name I conjured him.
Yet if a madman or madwoman were ever to meet the devil, no one would believe them.
My dear Maven, I'd wager these years I missed you. Of nights, I likely wept. And you missed it. Shall we continue?
How is it that I seem to hear you now? Is this your work or my own?
In life, I was made answerable for many crimes. A few I was even guilty of. In the matter of your mind's alleged infirmity, I was at best a mere accomplice. Faith, isn't this the voice of a dead woman?
You squint at her. How does one respond to that without making the alleged problem
Shall we
worse?
continue?
My questions are for the living for now. Rest well.
How kind. I fear that sweet sleep has flown south from us all. Instead, do remain vigilant, young Maven. Goodbye.
Do you see? Mariken's contract is immaculate. Here described as the soul of a newborn infant. None. How did she... This sudden fear I can't quite name.
A great rumble sounds. Here in the grotto, mingled grains of ice and old wood are kicked up in geometric whirls. The noise issued not from the bowels of the house, but upstairs. Voices rise in a distant choir of panic.
Go! Up! Out! Fly, Maven!
Oh shit, alright. Buddy! Oh, Raven, what's going on? Ah.
Was this you? A door! There!
She gestures to the new stairwell, perhaps redundantly, but her disbelief seems plain.
Volum, Rasmin, and I,
We were only outside for a moment. Where is Malta? Did you see her? She starts again, trying to help you orient in the timeline of her fragmentary antidote. My Volum, Rasmin, they went in just now. We heard cries, please. Nika seems to grope for words, genuinely alarmed, gesturing again towards the revealed stairway. Alright, you two. The fretful patriarch cranes torso first to peer into the passage like a child who'd not violate the domain of adults. Past him ahead in the room without precedent, the boy, Maltha, lies on some altar, asleep. Occult implements surround him, unwholesome sounds issue from the high-voltage narrow room. Old Volum stands by in tense reserve. His fingers contemplate the scabbard of a small dagger. At your approach, withdrawn. Now this I swear on God, Maven, Marraken said nothing of a hidden room. Nothing! Surely the boy, Malta, must have slipped past us. Opened this in his sleep? Hearing the door, we leapt up, but on sight of this cursed paganry. Wisely, Rasmin said, wait for the Maven. We will stand as your second as you inspect the scene. Please cry out if... He closes his mouth woodenly, conjuring no plausible contingency here. Rasmin stares into the strange chamber ahead. They notice you askance, but continue to observe. How quickly Mal must have moved to now gain toss in slumber as though caught in restless dreaming. Lead on, Magus. The hour is yours. Oh, that's a very large contract. That is a very large contract. Second best witch, you're here. Good. I smell metal. The kind that shines, and oils of anointment mingled with markedly less holy tinctures. The boy whimpers in his throat, but for the phlegm it is almost melodic. He has sweated through his shirt to stain the table beneath. His eyes snap briefly to you. Oh, that can't be your face, though I know it from somewhere. The lad's gaze loses you, slipping sidelong to dart softly between coordinates unknown. I am asleep. He told me so, and so see I'm still for mustn't dare to wake me. I meant no mischief, only did as told. He will tell you His words strangle. His back arches too far mechanically. No pain registers on his small face, which is somehow worse. Once, twice, then slack. This is no mere fever, it's a prelude to possession, and here, a contract on the lad's soul. Valravan hops away from the child, takes in the rest of the ascending contract, a monstrous spindle waiting. One stray leaf, I fear, from a whole family tree. Sidelong, the bird now surveys a legal stamp, its strange grip sculpted into a human likeness. Maltha, styled the same as was the effigy of Marraken, in the care of the fiend, One Eye. Mistress said nothing of this, even to her own familiars. Come, Maven, move Maltha to the chair and prepare the ritual components. The work begins. Well, before the work begins, we bond with Black Milk. Let's move the child. You shoulder Maltha into the chair next to you, where a client would sit. You brandish the ritual herbs under his mouth and nose, then show him the needle that will take a sample of his blood for the ritual. Troublingly, he volunteers his finger automatically, as if rehearsed. Oh, hello. Aren't you an interesting one? Ah. Vergil, as One-Eye's agent you lay claim? Well then, cough up your receipts. The great gold leaf contrivance responds, clicks and soft shrieks of metal muffled by its long robe. Lo, tendering, and you make steps forth. You wish to match wits with Vergil, the very graft of Castel. Think which. What is that whelp to you? You bleed onto the document near your client's contribution, consenting to act as proxy. How willingly you bleed for him. Bold yet flesh is but the ribbon tied round the true prize. Your soul. We must accept your challenge. The battle of wills begins. You negotiate for the soul of your current charge using a deck bound to their identity. View Malthus with tab. Oh, goodness. Family member decks are made of bundles of cards called pacts. The dark cards, Americans' cursed inheritance, sins through which demons can gain a hold of it on a soul. Removing as much of this cursed inheritance may lead to a more positive outcome in the reckoning. Cleaning a family member's soul perfectly is not easy, and may require you to replay a chapter more than once. Press escape to return to the ritual to seek out inheritance purging opportunities. Alright, let's do it. Trivial battle. Infinite bodies. Vergil's eye. Oh, I love that the little hand comes out. Oh, you're fun. Let us place a celestial projection. And let us use aggression. And we'll use a spark as well. To commend your strength or condemn your haste. Creatures with slide move X slots in their facing direction, taking any reserves with them. What's this? Ah, mayhaps. let's bring that in. Interesting. The subtle coin of will is not ours to spend. What to do? The invisible hand. Ooh. Interesting. Discard you. Place down a common archer. And then place in and then a spark. Ephemeral cards are discarded if not used by the end of the turn. When discarded, they are removed from play. It laughs. A negligible pinch. Okay. There we are. Celestial projection. And let's do a thrall. Not a thrall, an immolation. What the? Decaying husk. So it's not always a good idea to use up all the AP. Alright. Discard a thrall. And let's spark. And we'll discard... Oh, we can only discard one at a time. Right, so the other thrall goes down. Enter. Parts of wax.
Even a substantial loss of assets is research. And damn you.
How does one utilize this? Ah. You are using that yourself, I see. Cheeky. Let us place down a sacrificial lamb. We will discard the immolator. Select a spark on the eye. And let us replace. That gives us an extra AP. And then we'll give it a +1. Oh, wonderful. Our stock weakens, yet on every chart that matters, we shall... I didn't do the rest of that. Whoopsie. Ooh. You know what? I'm not going to waste a card. You are cutting costs somewhere, witch. That was too easy. Select a temporary bane to bear through this ritual. This is a bane, a mirror to the boon. Here the demon grows in power, but you decide how. Boons and banes can stack, and directly opposed ones cancel each other. Let's go for additional HP on our opponent. Why not? Welcome in, Madeline. We are fighting the demons to get a child's soul back from the depths of hell. Each bonded familiar has a unique and powerful boon visible on the bar. Each Svanguard has a boon as well. Malthus gives 0 attack creatures the sneak keyword, which lets them be placed on the enemy's side of the battle line. Ah. Interesting. Let us start with Comet Archer. And then we will discard an immolator, gain a spark, trigger that. And deploy Retribution. Your ship cannot tow American home. Cut her loose, witch, or join her in the depths. Alright. Discard that. Place down immolator. And then replace that with stunted spawn. And then a quick little spark. Creatures with counters strike back at their attackers an extra number of times. Bit problematic, but I think we can manage. Let us place Another immolator. And we'll place a thrall in as defense. Ah, that is an issue. Very well. Anchor of Faith. No. Celestial Projection. Then Retribution. And we enter. Let's discard the thrall. Face down another Anchor of Faith. Healing reduces harm. Look for a green healing preview to see how many are reduced. Pop that down there. And a spark on this. Enter. Beautiful. That one was more difficult. The path ahead offers recovery, which restores 10 health to the Maven Eye. Alternatively, you can take a boon. The boon could be useful. Deep down which you know you are unworthy of such fortune. Yes, let's take Bottle of Regret. And sincerely hope that we are able to get a healing card in. Well, we have a spark. Remember, you can test out moves and undo them to find the best play for the cards you have, right up until the end of your turn. Faith. Retribution. And a thrall. Right, that thing's a problem. Which means I want to kill it. Let's get a Celestial Rejection and a Flask of Thought. And enter. Right. A Sacrificial Lamb in the front. And let's get a Stunted Spawn on that Sacrificial Lamb. And then we will put down an Anchor of Faith. Maintain that recovery. Oh, you don't want to do that, darling. At this rate, you're going to destroy yourself. Let us place another Anchor of Faith and an Immolation over here, and end the turn. Delightful. A cash cow on resolve. Interesting. You're a bit of a problem, aren't you? Alright. let's do that. No. Let's add in a sacrificial lamb. Then we'll place down retribution. And we'll put down another flask of thought. Check. That's a lot of sacrificial lambs. The demon eye symbol stands in for the demon or assets they own depending on the context. Alright. Bit of an issue. Very well. Well, let's start with a spark. Then we will discard this thrall and use another spark. We will place an immolation. And a celestial projection. Fine print creature. Must be placed in reserve, but can go into any creature's reserve. Ah. Parasites. Lovely. Very well. Let us trigger aggression, discard slow reactions, and spark. Can I have your eye, Verigild? Each ritual is a contract, and any contract can be exploited. In this upcoming clause, your familiars can eke out such revelations. Your familiars searched the record. They uncovered evidence. The obligation was already discharged in an earlier settlement. A debt once discharged cannot be summoned again in this way. The law bends towards you. Revelations stand secured. Revelations are a currency of secrets spent at bargains, boons, banes, pacts, and forges to adjust their offerings. I'll take the 10 health. Healing overflow. Interesting. The day's ledger is again in the black. But what of the year? Let's see. A minion battle. Or an elite battle. A pact exchange.
This, I think, is the missing will of Marican. One great contract which, instead of leaving them her treasures, forces her own kin to inherit her spiritual debts. My God, she made her family sign away their souls to her. This boy is one such surrogate. Yet why can none of them remember? For her sinful life, this boy is to be damned. If I'm right, it's these cursed pacts, each some bundled sin of Marican's forced onto our client as surrogate, that we now must scrub away to save him. An exorcism by rites preceding all papistry, all inside some 40 hours. Great. Here, in this pact exchange, you can improve your deck by swapping one pact, bundle of cards, for another. You will pick a new pact to gain and an existing one to lose. Let's lose
cannot remove a cursed card. Let's lose these. In exchange, Names of the Saints. On resolve, takes harm. Its host gains health and attack. Check your card type ratio. Not every card is playable all the time. Remember, chance can't be played without creatures. The exchange is not complete until confirmed. You can change pacts freely until then, save for those containing cursed inheritance. Derelict Fortress. Topples forward when it dies, dealing 1 damage to all enemies ahead. Yes, I think I will take that, actually. There's an elite battle ahead. Higher tier battles have tougher enemies and award revelations, while higher tier clauses offer greater rewards. Sure. Berigild's visage has no mouth to discern, and yet, if a sexless bronze sunburst could smite. Let's put down Sacrificial Lamb. And a Derelict Fortress behind that. Smack you with a Spark, and put that on the fortress. Blast. Attack targets behind the primary target. That's fine. I don't mind that. Let's spark again. And spark again, I suppose. Place down another Derelict Fortress. And an Inhibitor. And we'll place a Thrall above the Derelict Fortress. And we have a defensive line at the moment. Ooh, interesting. That would kill something, I think. Let us swap out that. And we'll place another Immolator. Vorpal Investment. When this strikes the eye, it destroys all defense on it. It's a good thing I don't have any defense then, isn't it? Comet Archer. Anchor of Faith. Yes. Rot Cherub. Let's place that. And then Stunted Sport. And then... And discard for a spark. And then a Flask of Thought. Celestial Projection. Actually, no. Anchor of Faith. Cheeky. Very well. Lethal creatures kill any target they attack, except the Maven and Demon Eyes. Interesting. Let's Stunted Spawn you. And call it a day. Welcome in, there I was. New card game? Something like it. I wouldn't say it's particularly new, but it is a card game, a card battler, where we fight against the devil and the minions of the devil, and the devil is played by Liam O'Brien, which is fun. Riddle Cleaving Edge. You can discard an additional card each turn. Yes, I think I will take that. And yes, welcome in, welcome in. We are playing The Killing Stone. Here in the Forge, pacts can be changed to grant additional power. Some of these transmutations can even purge inheritance. The upgrades in the Forge change with each visit. One of the options this time is Expunge, which can remove inheritance from a pact. Select any upgrade now. Expunge inheritance. Sure. The forging only happens when the confirm button is used. Remember that each pact can only be forged twice. Cleanse Malthus' soul by purging his inheritance when you can, but sometimes other rarer forgings offer too much power to pass up. Time for a boss battle. I may or may not be on the cusp of making my own card battler / roguelite / thing, so I am interested. Well, watch and research, I suppose. Let's give this a go, shall we? Let's start with a sacrificial lamb and an invocation to gain an AP. Then an Anchor of Faith above the sacrificial lamb and an Immolator. And we shall end the turn. Ooh. Cheeky. Ouchie. Let's discard that for a spark. And destroy you. Then we will place an Immolator there. And a Comet Archer here. We'll discard a thrall to grab an additional spark and play it there. And we will end our turn. What are you? Fervor. On resolve, takes harm. Its host gains attack and heals. On death, kills its host. Interesting. And unfortunately, quite powerful. Alright. A sacrificial lamb to start with. Then a derelict fortress. And lastly, an immolator. We will play an Anchor of Faith, and a Celestial Projection, and a Flask of Thought to heal. Let's see. Let's grab a Stunted Spawn. And then a Spark. Get rid of that. Hopefully. I see. How very rude. Very well. Let's bring out another, I suppose. And this time, Retribution. As well as a Spark on our little friend here. And we will discard these for additional damage. Let us place a sacrificial lamb. Discard a Celestial Projection for another Spark. And discard a Derelict Fortress. Give me Immolator. And another Spark. And any cards that are left over at the end of the turn we discard for additional damage. Sacrificial lamb, I think. And perhaps another immolator. A spark. And a little bit more. Oh, the devil's in for a rough time. Ritual completed. Rewards unlocked. The first creature played in a turn gains... seal counter. Rejecting standard. Ejection. Bloodletter. Doomed overguard. And fine print. One inheritance card remains. Forge away their inheritance to save their soul. 4 rituals remain. Either my mind is in worse condition than I thought, or I heard the remains of Marican, our mistress, cry out from the grotto. Maven, I could not make out the words. Interesting. Contemplate. Marican's notes. This place has a name among the native folk, in every tongue of Europe. Mind. It seems to rescind the very breath, and thus rebuke them all. Paradox Isle, perhaps. For it is lies north of northmost. It falls within the pale of no nation, unbound by all quadrant or meridian. Yet, to me, as I hope to hear draw mine enemies one day, as my ancestors might have called a holmgang, I think Fanghella shall serve. Granted, I risk repetition, for yes, this was the name of that most murderous stone. As well, a game of souls, one of my own design. Lastmost, a painting that once disturbed my guests most pleasingly. Yet behold, is this island not a high, sharp stone, over which to struggle unto death? So we have Maltha's contract, Rasmin's contract, Volma's contract, and an empty slot, I assume reserved for Marican. Intriguing. Hey, Mr. Chops, what do you want to talk about?
One day, new Maven, I bet you'll be as great at the game of souls as even Marican.
His kudos came, sans subtext, but as he stands in your regard, a trace of new understanding dawns. Does he just now see that Marican has literally pawned her family as part of some great wager? He glances across the space towards Maltha, then surveys the carving station and tools, which to you now seem a strange, inappropriate comfort. As if now punishing himself, Mr. Chops falls into an uncharacteristic silence. He hangs his head. Is it just this verbal slip that vexes him? What does Black Milk have to say? You see, born for games, these demons, what you call laws, are sport to them. 'Twas he who first challenged their kind to this war of wills. The devil could not resist. Above all else, he loves to win. Marican pricked their pride, I heard. Lured them to the Fanghella. She gazes up at the great spiraling contract on its dizzying spindle. Looks impressive, no? All the legal trappings comfort the client alone. The great contract, mere records of wages, subtle revisions to rules, all verses viced. Mortal mavens write them down, because to forget one is to open oneself to doom by detail. Marican misliked it when I spoke too much truth after Vespers. I just swallowed my own spit while breathing. Oh, gods. American misliked it when I spoke too much truth after Vespers, but I told her plain. 'Twas we who first corrupted the spirits. Now we call them devils. Goodness me. I think we'll take a break in a minute and go refill our water bottle. Oh, Robin.
It seems this will be our courtroom, since all of we familiars may now attend. You may bond with any of us at will, Maven. Each will aid you in our own style. Choose who shall stand beside you, knowing that we'll begrudge nothing, and the rest of us will help in other ways. For me, I will pluck answers from this great nest of nonsense. I beg your patience. I am thoroughly intrigued by this. I'm loving the storyline for this so far.
Why are there curtains here? Also, the contract spindle is really neat. I'll give them that. Like, bloody hell. That's cool. Okay. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go grab a drink. Yeah. Enjoy a little bit of music while we wait. I return. Welcome in, Galgamos. Welcome, welcome. We are here to fight the devil at cards. At a ritual game of his own devising. A voice indeed, my friend. A voice indeed. I went to grab a bottle of water because I needed a drink. Right. That's enough Stronghold soundtrack for the moment. Back to the game. Now, you two. You returned to us. We saw you and Malta sit, the room filled with a kind of, how to say, antediluvian vapor. Heady scents deep in the royal, thick and strange. We could scarcely breathe. We found ourselves forced to withdraw to the stairwell. Shapes within seemed to writhe in some eldritch shadow play. The animal yips and screeches did seem to redouble themselves, but then all parted and Malta rose. Are you... The immediate excitement over. They seem to notice the chill down here, lightly shivering. No. Pray tell me what is afoot when you've recovered. I shall retreat to the den, but... Maven, thank you. Meanwhile, I'm trying to rewrite another job application, but I'm too tired. Entirely understandable. Entirely understandable, Galgamos. God knows I have a hatred of job application stuff. Volum. The big man turns on flat feet, eyes wide, poorly concealing his shock in the ritual's wake. The vapors disperse. Malta rises. Doctor, Maven, is he... Have you seen such trances before? No, no. Who am I to play your inquisitor? Friend to Svanguards, you swear... You've had an ordeal in that liar's library. I saw nothing, save for the vile fog, nor speak I any of the tongues you muttered in. But though ignorant, I am no ingrate. I mean to thank you. I am only overcome, that Malta is restored to us. Whilst you rally, we will confer above. If you have answers for us, we shall await them there. Okay, so... we have people to speak to. However, this journal wants me to know more. Also... That looks weird and worrying. American's notes. As men, learned men, seem unto learning, such maids. Over his mind's potential, each frets unto abjection, meditates on the day of debut. His unshared thesis he'll guard like virtue, sacrosanct. Will he be ravished and spoilt when his peers come at last to know him in full? Horrors. In the guise of a university man, I watched each of my fellows hesitate for years, wax faint over the question of originality. All along, mind, the outright imbeciles published gaily on. Quoth man, O Lord, do I merely derive from the greats? Am I but time's amanuensis? Who can foretell what potential holds one man's earthly opus? Aye, meagre drops in a sea of thought are most thereof, yet in numbers honest and nourishing as rain. Without 'em, neither the sea nor we may rise. Ask yourself how many slim, humble chapters in the grand and final book of Us have already been lost to these men, these cringing, green-gutted awe. Untold wisdom sacrificed by man to the mere shadow of his forebears, unto nothing, a monument unraised. You got anything more for me? No? Okay. Maltha? Oh, Doctor. I'm awake, thanks be to you. Is that right? You seem to go very still. When I awoke, Well, I've never seen this room. Sorry, it is just... You said nothing. I thought you were perhaps at prayer. I'm afraid I remembered near all to nil, a shining thing leaning over me. Grandfather and Rasmin seemed to wait on you, so I did as they do. Context strikes the young man mid-thought like a thunderbolt. He looks at the carved figure of himself and effects a little formal bow. As a Svanguard, I must express our enduring goodwill. Thankfully for both of you, Maltha seems to forget which note comes next in this recital. Avoiding your ring hand, but unable to resist a quick look at it, the lad gently squeezes one of your fingers, grateful. The next ritual awaits. Many claims remain on the boy's soul, yet there is a recess of sorts, should you need to gather your thoughts. You're fine, Galgamos. Literally, I don't care. Realistically speaking, gender is a construct designed by... What the... My goodness, young man, you can do quite the splits. Gender is a construct designed by society to oppress a multitude of different people. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Nika. That was joy in my Volum's voice. If a spirit you are, perhaps it was a winged mercy who breathed you into being, yes? Too winded, perhaps, when it came time to mold me. Her small teeth make an appearance so different to the first few overpoised smiles. If mortal, then, she takes your gloved hand in both of hers, I owe you warmth. That was not a question, yet you sense you are now allowed to speak as you please. She holds your hand, simply looking at you in silence. I begin to wonder if your mistrust of Marika was slightly prophetic. Oh, yes. Here is my next prophecy. I will show you a cave which is home to a pale bear. Enter without fire, and behold, fate will tear great wet red ropes from your belly. I mean, that's a pretty good prophecy. You have met Volum's grandmother, yes? Did you hate her, Nika? I have asked myself the same. I do not hate her fortune, freely shared. Wealth is a slow-burning fire, and Nika should be warm. She squeezes your glove, punctuating. The way Volum schools me of sin makes of a mortal man a partite thing. Oh, take the pearl, but cast away the filthy, upbraiding shell. Yet, without Marika's vain glory, would Volum have come here to me? Would I have her books to cipher away at when he grows red-faced and weary of words? Without sin-stained Marken would I know how to carve the air thus and ask questions after question. Smiling, she sets one hand free to rend the space between you for sequential emphasis, to which I need no spoken answer. Volum introduced you as his bride. Danish is not my native tongue, but a sigh, so large that it affects a spinal shudder. She is dead. At last, the exile was hers, yes? A witch, they all said. Now the family is free of her, stranger. My Volum hopes to see Denmark again, yet... She steps closer, her eyes, steady until now, flick right just once. You came on a ship. You know all the verses of his church fathers. He hopes you will see us married in the eyes of our God. Can his word for me, bride, not also mean a bride to be? You see, my Volum, he tries not to lie to you. You reel slightly. They have children. Grandchildren. One could... You are here now. You can be anyone. Simply, do not be a witch-taker. Do not be Inquisition, yes. Her grip moves up your arm with one hand. The other continues to grasp yours. She pulls you very close. Madam, what must you think of me? I think, weary stranger, that Marken wore many skins, and you are her student. How many grace these young shoulders now? A priest may be one. You may know all the proper words Volum's fathers knew, love by, even make me his wife before God. Yet you tricked them, yes? Again and again, but all is well. Of your secrets, Nika needs none. I demand nothing now. I think of Malta, grateful. I ask but this one thing more. Make one of your 1,000 skins a friend to my Volum. I think we can gather what happened to Maltha's parents. I thank you for the warmth, and for allowing a stranger into your home. I thank you, stranger. Nay, stranger no more. Doctor, then. I know not what means a maven. Well, at least you're a lot less chilly now. Right. Let's go check on the corpse. I believe Judith Butler has written quite a lot of philosophical texts in regards to feminism and stuff like that, right, Galgamos? I'm not entirely familiar with her work, but I have heard the name mentioned in those circles a few times at this point. Keep drifting away from the game. This is very nice and pleasant. Yes, it is a very interesting game. Right, what's happened to the corpse? There is something in the weird pond. Okay.
God's blood, Maven, and forgive the irony, but you've come over grim. Have you discovered some new form of woe?
The pitted iron that is her voice seems to take on a renewed edge. Your secret study has been found by a sleepwalking child, to his peril. We should speak.
When you studied at my foot, did I ever so much as misplace a sneeze? Shall we call it safe to conclude that, like you, this was expected? What secrets have you discovered? Who have I most recently betrayed?
The contract upstairs indicates you pawned a child's soul to cleanse your own. Why?
It is as if the trial is upon me again, and this nameless hollow the Hexenhaus. Yet after death and exile, what is left? No land of Nod lies further out, nor remains unto this world any bounded pale to send me beyond. Very well. Now, let us speak of youth, the only currency that no investment may ever return.
No. Begin anew. That is a boy, not a fungible abstract. His name is Maltha, I'm fairly sure.
Quite right. Now, Mariken might answer that distance governs definition both of and to all extant forms. You, Maven, are a masked figure in the robes of a physician. To a faraway scout, you are a blurry daub of danger. To an insect, you are a somewhat judgmental landscape. Neither conclusion is false. Still, for you, I am willing to squint. Malta it is. I apologize. So, let us speak of young Malta. What would you know?
Catching up in chat. Kind of spooky how she treats warmth as a currency. I don't think she treats warmth as a currency. I think she treats it as something precious. That in as an Inuk or Inuit woman, is something that is precious and to be shared when necessary. Because she literally lives in the middle of the ice and the snow. So she has like cultural effects in relation to the understanding of personal warmth, essentially. Sorry, readjusting myself. And yes, Butler has. Her first works are very agender-coded. But yes, that woman, pleasant as she is now, seems to think warmth is a precious thing that must be shared sparingly and only with the right people. Sounds like a sad outlook on life. Yes, no, yes, Gardamas. I do see what you mean. However, we must also think that we are in a more feudalistic time period in this. And, as I said before, she comes from a culture that puts a lot of stock in, like, warmth and body heat and all of that sort of thing. Specifically because it's kind of one of the few sources of warmth that they actually have. So sharing it is less of a... It's less of a sparing thing, or with the right people, and more of you wouldn't hug a stranger sort of thing. It's not necessarily an intimate thing, but you wouldn't walk up to someone random on the street and just hug them for no reason, sort of thing. And we literally walked into this house wearing, like, robes and a mask and went, "Hi, I'm here to exorcise your grandmother." And that's going to put anyone on edge, to be fair. Right, back to this, though. Oh boy. Why summon me to execute your will versus the devil? You had a live victim as an unwilling sin eater. You died clean.
Lest I repeat myself by asking, if I lived thus empowered, why die now? For it seems obvious that my engorged lifespan is less mysterious now. Let us lay that by. Yes, some 40-odd hours remain in the vigil period, I gather. At which time, I imagine, all sales are final. My will, negotiated with one eye, by leverage of its twin, will grant you no further grace to change the language on any soul's behalf. Yet, as you underscore, why lure you here? My pact appears clean, so there is nothing for you to achieve but the victim's salvation. I might have expected you'd callously stamp the documents and claim some mysterious fee. Yet, my dear Maven, recall your student days. For all the demeaning names I'd sling your way, I never dubbed you incurious. Already, in the case of innocence versus hell, you've had small wins. If I opposed that cause, would I not simply leave you to intellectual doom in Deutschland?
Yes, regarding death and seemingly contradictory wills. The letter you read as tired, even plaintive, old friend.
Exactly. When truth fails, and a Maven must compel someone to swallow a falsehood, treat it as poison. Add a drop of spoilt milk to the fresh, as if the milk were merely near to souring. To forego rudeness, the victim, who notes the strange bouquet, sends all down the hatch in silence, ingesting their little lie with your great one. Thus are they made accomplice to their own doom. All to say, to make a trap less obvious, would I not have mixed the letter's tone a touch? You may at last have to entertain the theory that, albeit close-kept, I harbored some secret faith in you. To act or judge my actions as even I could not.
Your familiars knew nothing, and appear to dote on your family. Are we merely instruments to you?
In life, to whom was I least kind? You must suspect that even unto myself, I was but an imperfect engine. Why would a beast, notwithstanding its cleverness, stand exempt? If I were to make an exception for any creature, I would lay my coin on you.
When you spoke of the damned boy just now, you sounded like this Verigild creature.
Indeed. Which came first, one wonders? The word deistai from the Old Greek carries us into the Socratic daemon. It refers to a presence riven from itself, meaning that which divides. My own mentor used to say, "He who would walk in my shoes must first banish all my demons." His little joke. There'd be nothing left but his shoes. You see? And naturally, when at last he slew himself, I kept his clogs.
If I best all your demons, you know, I may just take yours.
As you should. That winking imp promised you my grimoires, folios, etc. Yet I see it in your eyes that you have come for but one purpose, at any price: the salvation of souls.
You grunt aloud as if struck. Your eyes close as if they could somehow banish that dreadful joke retroactively, which in the end is worse. The supposition that one of reason's grand architects, whose art now spans 2 centuries bygone, would resort to such a base assault on the comic craft. Or that you imagined this, and purposefully inflicted it on yourself. How are you able to sell the soul of another, even in part?
How indeed. No remedial witchcraft, that. Even the Hexenfanger accused us of no such power.
She speaks the German word without a trace of accent, but some residual contempt for all witch-finders.
Well, accused me. You were deemed too young. A mere printer's devil at my elbow. Yet you were a prodigy. My central thesis cannot have escaped you. Of doctrine, surely I taught you that meaning lies between the lines, and mine was this. A universal law must unite natural philosophy, theology, so-called sorcery, alchemy, and on ad nauseam.
Call it plodding, but I have a literal mind. Be as specific as your own limitations allow.
Well, what is this word, soul, for which all must account, but none may suitably define? It is an agreement among the craven and ignorant not to explore the domain of overlap. Perhaps I found it. Might you, through me, now verge on a revelation, which would consign secular and spiritual to semantic irrelevance? Ask then, what would supplant them? Man and God, bound by one law, divided by mere observable angle. And make haste. I'm dead, after all. Seize it and publish before the body's cold.
Let us retrace our steps. The one-eyed devil briefly revealed an image of you, rendered in painted wood, and implied it contained your soul. Does it?
A fragment which awaited others, I suspect. When the vigil hours elapse and the written pact is ratified, yes? What he hoped to use it for, I cannot say. But perhaps it will avail the fiend less now. Given that, well, the child Malta is fated to shoulder my debt instead. Recall your studies of material sympathy, apprentice. Item the first. Like unto likeness calls. Hidden within that effigy, I imagine, some of my blood, hair, and thumbnail must yet grow. Indeed, I likely placed it therein. Medium aside, such poppets can bind a divided soul. But their primary use is more direct. At the will and pleasure of the wielder, they make toys of the living.
The house threatens to possess the souls of all within. Should I not advise the others to simply flee?
Blood shared with me may be a component. Many curses are delimited thus. Regardless, an economy of hexcraft was ever my way. Meaning, if any substitute soul will do, why was the child selected to absorb my sins? If I wish to compel the rest, or even you to stay, would not the Damoclean sword dangled over his young head do the trick via pity's soft sorcery? Of all
Thank
judgment,
you, American.
I most eagerly await your own.
And there is a weird, creepy fish monster in this cabin somewhere. And every time, as our little countdown timer ticks down, it seems to get closer, which is a little worrying. Right. Let's go step forward into Maltha's contract. I love this design, though. Like, look at this thing. It looks so cool for a demonic entity. We shall take Black Milk as our familiar. The bargain. Bargain with Vergild.
The court is both father and mother to all accusers, thus even now the devil is bound by his own ancient laws. This Vergild is a lord of hell, a vizier to one eye, a lawyer, and greedier than average. No offense meant. Yet no rule is etched in fire across eternity. It exists only till challenged, for what is law but a conversation between abusers? We say, the bargain. Here you must forge your own luck, revise your boons and banes, bid and counterbid. Thus, with his signature tricks, will beat the devil at his own game. Most rituals contain rounds of bargaining, where you and the demon vie over boons and banes to make permanent. Select a boon you want, or a bane you don't, with mouse button, to place a chit there. The demon will do the same. First demonic creature placing starts the battle with an deployed immolator creature. You start the battle with a deployed comet archer. First creature played behind an ally gains You get 3 chits per bargain round. Bids are hidden until all are spent. Confirming reveals them. Until then, you can recall a chit. Ooh. This is only the first of 3 rounds of bargaining. Outcomes are only ratified after the final round. You still have time to tilt the results in your favor. Oh. Let's gain some revelations. Your familiars trace the text between tongues. With this, the ritual tilts. Revelations enter your grasp. Right. We have a boon, a forge, or a pact exchange. I think we go for the forge. If we can get rid of that final expunge inheritance. Confirm. Extract all of Marican's inheritance. Is the eye on the orb is unnerving? What, you mean this orb or that orb? Because they're both eyes, Galgamos.
Hey, Tech Priest. Welcome in. It is it's a fun-looking game, and it is just a fun game in general, and Liam O'Brien plays the devil. Not the particular devil we're facing at the moment, but one of them. The lower left one with all the moving pupils? Yes, that one's mine! Right. Elite Battle. Veragild's Horde. No such claim on poor dead American lives. Let's start with a spark, then a celestial projection, place aggression, and then another spark. There, not an overguard. Alright. Sacrificial lamb, methinks. Then stunted spawn. And then a flask of thought. We will discard this flask of thought and we will spark on that. That was not worth it because that has 2 health. We'll just spark on this. Yes, it's very well designed and also quite unnerving. The first time I saw it, I was yeah. Sacrificial lamb, anchor of faith, comet archer, get rid of immolator, and spark that. There we go. Elshard. Well, congrats. You're just making things worse for you, but yourself, Veragil. Ooh. Let's invoke that. Place down an immolator, as well as an anchor of faith. And that there. There we go. Retribution on you. And Flask of Thought on you. And we will spark you up. Hey, nice. Oh, we have ads. We have ads, everybody. I'm sorry. Ooh, 9 revelations added. Very nice. A cursed pact. Lose a pact and take on a cursed one, bearing Marican's inheritance. I know not what I read here. Marican seems to have invited you to defend her family, given you tools to that effect. Yet it is also in her hand that this new inheritance clause was penned, like some patient trapping spider waiting for us. Why? By merely challenging the list of sins that your client must ritually swallow at the end of the 48 hours, we have revealed another for which they are liable. I failed you. I did not anticipate this. We must attempt to forge away these new cursed pacts. When Marican sold her family's souls, she doomed them to carry her sins. Cursed pact exchanges enforce her end of the deal by adding a cursed pact to your deck. These exchanges can't be avoided, but you can choose what is affected. Select a new cursed pact. What do we got? Rally. Tithe. Enemy gets an AP. Mutated Echo, when deployed, becomes a... no. Rotten Rung. On resolve, gain 1 damage. On death, damage host and its reserves for 1 damage. Alright. Let's sacrifice one of these. Adjustment made, expectations lowered. Shall we proceed? We will expunge inheritance. So hopefully we are good on that. Battle the nobility of hell. Alright, let's do this. Ugly Sentiments, boss battle. Cognitive hazard. Any card plays into reserve gains health and damage. Alright. Put you down. Invoke you. Put... you in reserve. Oh, so that applies to me as well as him. Got it. And we'll do that to you. So you should be a 4/5, yeah. And we will spark. We'll place down a derelict fortress. Spark again. Rally invocation to gain armor. We'll redeem that. We'll put that there. Target any reserve, deal damage equal to its health to its host. Ooh. That could be problematic. When this deploys, it pulls the creature in front of it into its reserve. Ooh. Weird. Inhuman Focus. Let's do Sacrificial Lamb with Inhuman Focus. And then we'll place an Immolator in with Retribution. Creatures deployed to a full battle line complete their deployed effects, then die immediately. I see, so we can only have 3 at a time. Understood. What are you? Thought Eater. Steals the topmost reserve of any creature it attacks, if possible. Alright. Place an Immolator with Retribution on it. Kill that. Drop that on you. Creatures on the demon's side of the board can't be replaced unless the new creature also has feet, apparently. Interesting. Oh boy. Ooh. Oh, good. Well, it still counted for me anyway. Alright. Sacrificial lamb down. We'll put down an Anchor of Faith on top of that. We'll kill the Immolator. Take out a Spark. Put in a Flask of Thought, and put another Flask of Thought on top of it. Avarice pulls attackers into its empty reserve. On death, lowest reserve gains +3 attack. Alright. Kill the Thrall. Draw another Spark. Stunted Spawn on there. Let's see. Swap. Base. Max health. And that'll have to do. Okay. Court Spy. Slides 1 when attacking. Okay. You are an issue. Got it. Let's just keep damaging. Invoke that. Place a Celestial Projection with Aggression. Heal from any own creature, doesn't matter. So let's that. And then turn. Interesting, it got attacked, pulling the attacker into its reserve, so your reserve got added, it then died, and your creature was returned, but as it was the 4th, it died immediately. Yeah. It's an interesting little one. This boss is tricky and the interactions are neat, and I'm sure they'll get even trickier in the future. Flankers can attack from the reserve. Alter Call. Flanker. Great. You stole my unicorn. How dare you? Invoke shield. Redeem. Redeem. Spark on you. Discard and then spark on you. That's fine. This is the tower. The tower does damage to everything in the row, so I can live with that. Sacrificial lamb. Stunted spawn on the sacrificial lamb. Give that that. Swap that out for that. Liquid that. Kill this. So we get our unicorn back. Very nice. Oh! Buggering. This interval's ours by right, and by it we shall claim all others. How dare they steal my unicorn? Dump the thrall. Use that spark. Comet Archer. And then Anchor of Faith. And enter. Automatic. Right. Let's spark you. put down a tower. Dump you. Spark you. And then do that. And we might as well put it down there. Hey! Nice. We win. Your familiars compared the copies. They uncovered contradiction. Two versions of the same proviso, each diverging from the other. A divided instrument cannot stand as one, thus the balance shift. You hold revelations. The bargain. This Verigild thinks himself smarter than all of us put together. It's a twisted blessing, really, that overconfidence. Bit by bit, we can trick him into thinking he's on a winning streak and trap him between temptations. Revelations can be spent with R to weaken Verigild's claims, removing chits from the bargain. Okay. Well, if I do that, and then pop these two there, that's even, Stevens, as it were. When bargaining ends, boons and banes are enacted if the party that benefits from them has the most chits. Ties are always discarded. Interesting. Oh boy, okay. Damning Cursed Pact. Lose a pact and take on a monstrously cursed one bearing Marraken's inheritance. Pact exchange, elite battle. Phew. We will gain revelations. Minion battle and forge, followed by a pact exchange, followed by an elite battle, or again, you falsely sued have rightful debt erased, and your kind called Verigild a miser. I also love his little mechanical hand in the corner there. Archer. And stab. Higher. Oi. Okay. That's fine. That just gives me back my AP. Spark you. Anchor of Faith there. Celestial Injection. Scarred and Spark again. There definitely are other hands, and I know that there are other eyes because the tutorial quote-unquote boss that we had a blue eye with a gloved hand. So yes, there are other eyes and other hands. I don't know if we get other eyes, though. I'm not sure if this is customizable. If we beat Verigild, I would very much like to steal his eye. That would be fun. Hearts of Wax. Okay. MP. And place down the Derelict Fortress. We will give the Derelict Fortress +1 on its attack. We will dispose of a Retribution. And Spark the Eye. And I didn't even need to do any of that. But, you know, I'll take it. Okay, let's see. Inhuman Focus and Rally. Adds Immolator card to the Pact. Rarity Uncommon. Potent Aspect. A random creature in the Pact gains +1. You know what? Where's those Derelict Fortresses? Duplicitous Aspect. A random creature in the Pact gains Sneak. Ooh. You know what? Let's take this. We now have a Derelict Fortress that can hit back. Right. We can either go for the Pact Exchange. Actually, I think we'll go for the Boon, though. Boons are useful. Recovery and Rituals grants 25% more health. Heal 2. Let's go for the max health. That's always useful. And an elite battle for a greater Pact Exchange. Worm Prophecy. The demon gains the Conqueror Worm card on their 2nd and 4th turns. Lovely. Derelict Fortress. Anchor of Faith. Sacrificial Lamb. And that. Enter. That's fine, that's intended. Spark to that. Redeem this and this. Put down another Sacrificial Lamb. And discard the Flask of Thought for another Spark. Hello. Malicious Forger. Eek. Alright. Let's grab an Immolator. Play Stunted Spawn on it. Give that additional attack. And discard this Immolator. And get rid of that. Ah, shit. Okay. Right, enter. Okay, well, not too bad. That I don't like. Because that bypasses all my defenses. Alright. Give me armor. A Derelict Fortress that can attack. A Flask of Thought on top of that. Discard Immolation. Get rid of that. Oi! Cards with overflow don't count against hand size limits. When discarded, they are removed from play. Overflow. Conqueror Worm. Spawns a skittering leech anytime it kills another creature. Well, that's problematic. Get rid of that. Spark that thing. And then spark it again. Deploy Anchor of Faith with Retribution. And spark it one more time. Get rid of that thing. Don't like it. Let's do... this to you. Then discard Retribution. Give me a spark. And then turn. Right. Yes, good. Destroys a bunch of stuff. Give me a Celestial Projection here with Infinite Focus. And discard another one and drop that on that thing. And turn. There we go. Fair enough, Galgamos. Have a good evening. I hope you enjoyed your sleep. I know that sometimes I have difficulty enjoying sleep. I wake up and I'm like, did I even sleep at all? Let us spark that thing. And then a little Comet Archer. Redeem. To invoke a Flask of Thought. And end our turn. Alright. Let's bring you up. And then swap your health and damage. Put down the Sacrificial Lamb. Put down the Flask of Thought, discard the Thrall, and this thing. I think I could have just killed the eye, actually, now that I think about it. Which I will do now. Whew. 6 revelations added. And a greater pact exchange. What have we got? Legion, Rot Cherub, and Feast. Flask of Thought, Names of the Saints, and Lymph of the Divine. Port Spy. Honestly, that could be pretty useful. Let's throw out these guys. Revelations. I will take that. And then we shall carry on to the forge. Targeted withering removals don't count toward upgrade limits. The smaller your deck, the more likely you are to draw a card you want. Strikes an additional righteous aspect. A random creature in the pact gains blast 1. Random creature in the pact gains counters 1. Ooh. Kind of like the idea of upgrading our derelict fortress. Removes the first card of the pact, doesn't count towards upgrade limit. Pact has now reached the 2 upgrade limit and cannot be further modified. I see. So each pack can only be upgraded twice. Alright. Minion battle and a greater boon. Let us bring out the Celestial Projection. Followed by a redemption for a Rot Cherub. Bin the other Celestial Projection and fire the lightning! Alright. Bring out an Immolator. And we'll put a Flask of Thought behind it. Sell that. And drop that there. Rude, but alright. Rot Cherub with this. Gain an action point. And heal the eye a little bit. Shove the Immolator in a drawer. And pop a spark. Alright. How aren't you rude? Alright. Bring that up. Put an Anchor of Faith down. Drop a Spark on you. Put another Anchor of Faith down. All that. Drop a Spark on you, and end the turn. Lurker. Wonderful. Let's do one more spark. And one more spark. There we are. Lovely. Lovely. Delightful. Ooh. Let's get shield at the start of battle. Recovery and a Bane. Alright, we'll live with it. Recovery grants less. I can live with that. Alright. Let us battle the Lordship of Hell. Boom and Dust. On gather, gain 1 AP on odd turns, lose 1 AP on even turns. The health refill. Refills at the start of each ritual. There's no reason to preserve it beyond the final battle. Don't hold back on demon bosses. Let's put in a Rot Cherub. And we'll spark, and we'll spark, and we'll spark a little more. And then immolate. Alright. What is that? Names of the Saints. Wonderful. Redeem this. Deploy that, and deploy the derelict fortress. Enter. Copies take the stats of the original at that moment. Once created, copies are no longer tethered to their originals. Pandemic creates a duplicate of an asset as it exists in that moment. Great. Derelict Fortress. Sacrificial Lamb. Flask of Thought in the back line. And let's swap that around, shall we? End turn. You healed. I don't appreciate that. Alright. Invoke this. Then Celestial Projection. Stunted. Anchor of Faith on top of that. And Lightning. We will rally since it's a zero-cost card. Throw away the Dark Blessing. Destroy one of these. Gain an AP. Place down a Flask of Thought and replace it with another Stunted Spawn. And enter. Not the knife again. Alright. Spark the knife. Place down a Rot Cherub. Retribution on top of that. And we'll do another Sparky Spark. Lovely. Target creature on the battle line attacks immediately. Alright. Let's do an Immolator with Retribution. And place down a Flask of Thought. And then we spark you. So we survive. Let's do Sacrificial Lamb with Inhuman Focus. And then Inside Out on you. Shove the Flask of Thought in a drawer and stab this. Bloody hell. Ooh. Cheeky. Alright. Have a fortress. Followed by a Stunted Spawn. Followed by an Anchor of Faith and a Rot Cherub. And we shall end the turn. There we are. Lovely. The bargain.
Though it was a bargain, the damned American, it seems the instrument of her dark miracles, myself included. that she told even her own familiars so little offers us one cold comfort. If luck holds and we work as one, we may surpass her cursed work, even overturn it.
Right. Let's put 2 there. Oh, you know what? We'll put all 3 there. Confirm anyway. Oh. I see. You can add more than 3. Well, that's a little annoying. But it's fine. Probably. Ritual completed. Rewards unlocked. The Endless Host, Abjuring Force, Subversion, and Rage Whisperer. No inheritance remains. This character's soul is safe. For now. Oh yeah. Goddamn American. You really left us in a pickle, didn't ya? Hello, Black Milk. Oh, the little suckling's distraught. On fate's great scale, did he earn the boons he has thus far enjoyed? Take for Exhibit A this house. But for Marican's magic, the child would have shivered away his last in a frosty hovel beyond the sight of God. As did the fool Norseman who tried to claim this land some 2 centuries bygone, unfit subjects of his boyish idolatry, they. She stares at the boy, Maltha. Unbidden, an almost liquid ripple passes across her fur. Then, rigid, even the tail. Wide-eyed and trembling, her eyes take on a brief, reddish shine. Yet, was it not the sentence of Marican's unlawful life that doomed his to begin here? Had the boy died or gone unborn without his Inuk forebears who joined the family here, though tragic, his soul would be free of hell and Marican. A strange mercy. Ugh. Whose mouth thusly mules? Not Mistress Milk. 'Tis obviously nap time. I love you, Mistress Milk. You're adorable. Look at you. Look at you. Oh, you're such a cutie. Ah! Balraven. Balraven looks up from what seems thought deep enough to verge on trance.
Maven, I admit I am somewhat behind in my review of the family contracts. I hope soon to share with you what I have learned of this Verigild and the rest. You have not shouted to hasten me, or the like. I appreciate your forbearance.
Why would I shout at you? Look at you. You're beautiful. What's up, Chops? Mr. Chops glances to you as if heartened briefly, but a low rising growl climbs from his throat as he surveys the scene. Oh, buddy, come here. Boop. You can pet all the pets, and I am so glad for it. What does Marican's notes have to say? Learned men continued. If you would learn, then unto truth submit. By the very act of self-annihilation, become. Unto your field, mentor, school, or church, offer yourself in holocaust. Burn your name in nomine. Go native beyond nature's own. When you may learn no more, should you desire to tear down this new house as well, begin from the inside and raise it to the bedrock. Eesh. Damn. Anakin really does have a way with words. Okay, we have a couple of dialogues. However, I think this is a decent point to call it for the evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this. I think this may become a relatively regular game. If not, we'll end up playing it over on the YouTube side of things. But I think we might be playing this a lot more. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Tomorrow we are doing D&D, so join us for that as our party ventures deep into the vaults of the Palace of Asmodeus, or Asmodeus, depending on how you pronounce it. For now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us. We are going to go and raid a Z-Manzilla, who is currently doing some tarot. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening, everyone. Have a very good evening and a very good night, and we'll see you all next time. Ta-ta for now.